This bridge connects my helix to the upper deck, but frankly, it just looks wrong. I'd like something more like this. Follow along as I try to kit bash an N-scale bridge to get the look I want. Okay, let me get this out of the way. This bridge connects the helix down here to Happy Valley up here. And I like the idea of using a CSX, one of these plate girder bridges here, but I don't like the look of the double CSX bridge there. So what I'd like to do, what I'd like to try is, let's pull this off, and I'd like this to be centered there with short extensions on either side. Now, I also have this little section here, which fortunately is exactly the same width as this one here, but they don't quite line up. Like if I line up the rails, this you know, the bottoms don't line up here and this ends up too tall. So I would have to adjust the deck height one way or the other to get the bottoms to line up. I don't know if you can see that, the bottoms to line up. And I think that would look pretty good. Now, the problem with that, of course, is if I put these two together, if I can, let's see if I can get these two together. There we go. Of course, they don't line up correctly, and you know, clearly that is not an improvement aesthetically over the other one. So what I am going to try doing is I'm going to take this one here and I'm going to cut it in the middle so that I've got two extensions, and I'm going to try to mount one on either side, get them all lined up, get the decks leveled, put some fresh rail in there because this is code 80. And we'll take a look and see if that does the job. Okay, first thing we need to do is get these rails out of here so that we can work on the plastic. Now this is probably not going to be that easy based on experience. I expect it to fight, and I may end up tearing up the little heads in there, but that's okay because I think I'm going to have to re-level the decks anyway. Probably start from scratch. So let's get these rails out of here. It'd be nice if I could reuse them, but it's not necessary. Yeah, it's just not going to come out easily. Well, I take that back. It's coming out easy, but it's tearing up those, so I won't be able to reuse them. So one way or the other, I'm going to have to redo the deck there. All right, so those are out. Let's get these out. Those were pretty easy. Actually, this looks like that was a two-part thing. Interesting. All right, well that's good to know. We'll see if that's important later. Okay, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I've already clipped off the end on this. Let me just... Before you decide to be cool like me and pull the razor towards your thumb, let me say this. I'm an old guy with bad habits and lots of scars. You've been warned. Level that out a little bit. Okay, that's nice and smooth so I can get up close there. We're gonna go ahead and nip these off because we're not gonna use them. And just clean that up a little bit. go. Those are both pretty good level. All right, on to the next step. Okay, now we need to cut this in half right along the middle there. And well, that's not going to work. I can't get that up any higher. What I could do, I could manually start it and then slide this in to finish it. Let me give that a shot. To do that, I think I need to put a mark on the top here so I know where the middle is. This is the middle here. Well, that's not working very well. Let's see what we can do here. Start right here. Just get a mark started. Need to go a little bit further this way, I think. Okay, I could live with that mark. This one here, try to line that up as best I can. Trying as much as possible, I'd like to go right down that middle section there. I'll have to rebuild a little bit, I'm sure. I think I can live with that. So make sure I'm in the right one there, and then get over there. Keep that as vertical as possible. All right. Let's see if that's enough for me to get in there. There we go. Okay, we are in. Now let's see if I can keep that nice and rigid. There we go. Okay, there's that. On to the next step. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and try to get some paint on these extensions here before I start gluing everything together, just because I think it'll be easier to do this when they're separate than after they're all together. Although really 6 of one, half dozen of the other, I think either way would work fine. Just make sure I don't have too much stuff there. Okay, good to go. So what I need to do is I need to try to match this blue, since I assume CSX would have painted the extensions the same blue as the main section here. And I'm not worried about it being an exact match, because obviously we're going to weather it and fade it and do a bunch of stuff, but the closer the better. And the only thing I care about painting are the insides and outsides of the side panels themselves. Everything else is going to be either rust or covered. So let's see if I can come up with a match using what I got here. This is just folk art matte from, I think this was probably from Hobby Lobby. Come on. Oh, I guess I never took the wrapper off of this. Nothing like being prepared. Oh, for Christ's sake. Here we go. There we go. Won't take much. Now let's just take a look at that. A little here, just to see how this matches up. Let's put a little right here and see how that looks. I didn't bring my thing over. There we go. Tell you the truth, that's not bad right out of the bottle there. I think I might give it a shot with just that and then adjust as necessary. So let's see what happens there. So you need to thin that down a little bit. Might still be a little on the thick side. Yeah, let's give that a shot. And let's see what this looks like. Let's go with the inside first. Okay. I actually think that looks pretty good. Might be a little on the dark side, but let's let it dry and we'll see what
turns out like.
Okay, so this is dry now, and if we look, you can see that the extensions are still kind of on the dark side. So I mixed up some new paint. Not sure how good a match it is, but let's give it a shot. We'll put a little on there and see what happens. Okay. A little bit more. Hope that's enough. All right. So do a quick check. I mean, it's going to darken as it dries, so yeah, it's close. A little on the maybe a little too blue, but let's let it dry and check it again in a bit. Okay, they've had some time to dry, and let's check it out. See how we did. So it does appear that the extensions are a little bit darker blue than the CSX itself, but I think it's close enough. By the time I weather it, you know, I'm gonna fade it and put rust and all that kind of stuff. I think it's close enough that I can live with it. So, yep, we're gonna go with that. On to the next step. Okay, so it is time to join these pieces together. And I think the way I'm going to do that, well, first off, I think I have decided that it makes more sense to make this a ballasted track. So that will help make it easier to blend everything together. But still, if you look, this deck is still pretty high compared to these here. And I think the way I'm going to join these together, if you flip them over, you can see there's like a little pocket here, which is the right thickness for basically for one of these. So I think I'm going to cut a piece that goes in there and joins with this. The problem I have is that you can see that this is just kind of a hollow. There's like a little rail there, but that's just basically hollow. And I think what I might do, I'm looking at this. Let me put my little things on here. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but this looks like this is held in place by these 4 pins and these little pins there, which probably just push in. So I think if I were to lift those pins, I could slide these sides out, and that would give me the freedom to build up something completely new. Although I still have to put my ballast at about that level there. And it would be pretty tall. Let's see if I've got a little piece here. Something to mess around with. Here we go. Just, is this the same thickness? Yeah, this is a little thicker. But you get the idea. So, thinking I might be able to do I want to bring those up? I wonder if I could flip those over. No, I can't. That would be long enough to make a new deck. I think we're going to go that way. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop these sides off, and I'm going to use this to make a new deck, which I'll bond to the underside of those sides, and then join that to this underneath. Yeah, let's do that. Let's use this. Okay, so before I take this apart, I think I should mark the width so that I can cut appropriately. And it looks like that should be right about there. Yep, so let's go over on this side. Cut slightly to the outside of that. Right about there. Take this razor. Do this with some sandpaper, just get that smoothed out a little bit. Get that out of the way. And time to pop this off. Let's start at this end. This is nerve-wracking. Here's one of them. There's two. All right. So let's take a look at that. So I'm gonna have to knock those pins off right there. If you can see them. There and there. And I'm gonna have to probably scuff those up. Let's just see how this is gonna line up. Those knocked off. Actually, I need those pins knocked off too. Let's get all of that knocked off. Well, I guess worst case, I have another one of these. All right. Make sure those are squared. Yeah, it looks pretty square. All right. Alrighty, let's see. Let's do it this way. Yeah, that'll work. All right. Let's see if we can get this on. So at this point, the extensions are glued on, but now I need to reinforce the bottom and build it up a little bit so that it's flush and that I have some support for the piers underneath there. Here I'm using super glue to bond the styrene to the plastic for the bridge, and then I'm going to use Plastruct solvent to bond the styrene to the other styrene underneath it. I think that worked out pretty good. A little off right there. I wonder if I could fix that. Yeah, not worth fussing with it. I'll just cut a little piece to fit in there, so we don't get a bunch of ballast dropping down. All right. All right, I think I do need to build that up. I needed to add these end pieces to provide support for the rails, otherwise they would have dipped or sagged down. That there wasn't anything to support them on the ends. All right, that'll work. That wastes a little ballast in there, but that's okay. Okay, let's see how we did. Well, I need a little something to prop that up. Here, let's put this in there. See if that'll hold it. Yeah, there you go. Well, I don't know about you, but I think that turned out pretty good. Now I need to make the piers and abutments and weather everything, put the rail in there, and we're good to go. I think that'll do it for this one.